Artist alley this weekend. Definitely full-blown heat exhaustion at this point. So Artist Alley is this weekend, which is a brand new Melbourne-based event. It's never run before, and it is just called Artist Alley. Although I know there are definitely some exhibitors and activities that are going to be there that aren't artists. So like it's not really just an Artist Alley, but that's the name they've gone with. This one's also out in the suburbs a little bit rather than in the city, which is a bit different for one of these types of events. But yeah, I'm tabling at it, and this is actually going to be my first time tabling at an event since April last year, so it's been almost a year since it's been almost a year since I tabled, so we'll see how that goes. This is also going to be my first event where I don't have my little sibling as my helper, and we'd gotten a pretty efficient kind of system going, but my partner is going to be helping me out. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I do have like a few new things, and some of the posts I've made about it on TikTok have gotten a lot of attention, so we'll see. So Friday night I'll be going to set up, and then it is a 2-day event. It's both Saturday and Sunday. So we'll see how we go. I'm about to head off to a very big day of work, so I feel like I'm gonna be exhausted before like the weekend even starts. But anywho, as usual, you're coming along for the ride, and we'll see how this event goes. I'm going in like optimistic. As I said, like a brand new event, you don't really know what to expect, but I'm optimistic. Doing like the art business stuff and doing events like this while working a full-time job, especially something like teaching, is honestly kind of nuts. Because like all this week, it's like I get home from work around 5, and then I've been doing art prep, and I'm exhausted. As soon as I start talking to a camera, Ginger Snaps wants to be here. My sunnies. I lost my sunnies. You want to wear them? No. But yeah, we're pretty much as organized as we're gonna be, and bumpins tonight, so we're setting up. It's gonna be interesting to see how a brand new event goes. I'm also gonna be at the Game Expo next month, and I'm realizing that I'm not gonna be able to have new products manufactured before that. It's getting too close. Like potentially I could get some new stickers and prints done, but that's about it. Anyways, we're wrapping the Teletubby Labubu's. I do have little like blind bags of these little guys in keychain form that I'll be debuting at this event, so yeah. Anyways, time to go get through a day of work, and then we set up for Artist Alley. I love my partner, but one thing to know is that he will always make us later than planned because he wants to stop for a coffee. On the way to Artist Alley though.
And Mark's like, geez, Nathan's.
So day one of Artist Alley down, and like my gosh, did it get hot today. And we were like in the very middle of the building, so there was like no airflow. So particularly in the second half of the day, I was really struggling with that. And earlier in the day, there'd been a little bit of airflow because there were big side doors open, but they ended up closing those because one of them actually hit an exhibitor in the head. Like, they're fine, but yikes. yeah, outside of those factors, like it was a good day. I covered all my costs, so we're in a good position for tomorrow. And I always just enjoy like being able to talk to everyone, both attendees and also other artists. So I had some really good chats. I also had a lot of people come up to me and say that they'd seen my video on TikTok about Artist Alley, and there were even quite a number of people who specifically said, oh, I only even knew about this event because I saw your video and I shared it with my friends and stuff. So that was really cool. And I also got to sell some of my new things, like my little tubbies, my mystery keychains, and also some of my ponies and stuff. So all of that was cool. But yeah, so like it was a good day until the heat started really getting to me. I'm definitely not somebody who copes with heat, and admittedly I'm like feeling really sick right now. So we'll see how it goes, but I will say that there were definitely a decent amount of people around. Like for a first time event, there were a decent amount of people. So that was like a pleasant surprise, because you know there was that caution of, you know, what if not that many people show up because this event's never run before. So that was good. And I also saw a bunch of friends who attended the event and stuff. But yeah, I'm about to go have a cold shower and collapse. Basically, is my plan. Because tomorrow we have to do it all again. Which, like, yeah, which I'm only... Like, as I enjoy doing these things, especially, like, it's a good feeling when people like your art. And as I said, I just enjoy chatting to everyone. But, yeah, the heat is definitely a factor that has made this really difficult for me. I've never had to, you know, table with that kind of heat before. So that's unfortunate. If I can recover enough tonight, we'll be fine.
I love him so much.
I know, I have WhatsApp. Heat exhaustion hitting a lot earlier today. Like, it's only just past midday. And I'm feeling so sick and having to sit outside. Like, at least yesterday morning wasn't hot. It's been like insufferable the entire day today, and it just keeps getting worse, especially where we are. You cannot breathe. And yeah, definitely full-blown heat exhaustion at this point with how like sick and struggling to breathe comfortably I've got going on. At least I get to sit out with a view over the water, I guess.
The Velcro ones, are they on their own separate file?
I have conflicting feelings about last weekend. And yes, last weekend, it's an entire week later because I've been too unwell to film this update or even to work. I've missed work most of the past week because in many ways, this was actually a really good event, especially for a first time event. However, it was also a health and safety risk, and not just a risk, like it did actually impact my health and safety quite severely. And I have spoken to other artists who did leave early on Sunday because they were so unwell. Because basically the venue was Caribbean Gardens, and we were basically in a giant shed. So obviously that type of environment, when it's hot outside, it ends up even hotter inside than it is outside. And my table was located particularly like right in the middle. So basically the hottest part of the venue, and also the part of the venue that had the least amount of airflow. And there were times, especially on the Sunday, where I was actually struggling to breathe. And I went and sat outside for quite a long time because I was so unwell and I couldn't breathe comfortably and, you know, headache, all of that. Like, I think if I'd stayed inside, I probably would have had like full-blown heat stroke, and probably would have needed like immediate medical attention. Like, it was that bad. Like, my body doesn't cope very well with heat to begin with. But yeah, especially being in that environment for like 2 days, and especially the Sunday, because the Saturday didn't start like that, where the Sunday was like that unbearable, that kind of unbearable conditions the entire day that just kept getting worse. And I was doing everything I could, like loose clothing, hair up, drinking heaps of water, etc. So yeah, like I'm getting like emotional now talking about it, I think just because it affected me so much. And as I said, I've been so unwell, like I couldn't even work all week. And my body was just like completely decimated basically, and it was dangerous. But it's particularly upsetting because, as I said, otherwise outside of the heat, it was like a really good event. Like, if they did another artist alley at that venue, even, because if it wasn't hot, I actually liked that venue otherwise. Like, if they did an artist alley at that venue but in like winter, I would be all for it. It's just not a safe venue for summer, especially like February in Melbourne. But yeah, let's talk about the good, because as I said, there was a lot of good. It was just, yeah, you were just thinking about it, like I'm having trouble talking about it. I don't know why I'm getting so emotional. Let's talk about the good. As I said, if it wasn't hot, I actually did really like the venue. It was quite conveniently located for me personally. The bathrooms were quite easy to access and I never had to line up or anything. Like, definitely a lot better situation than something like Showgrounds, where they're much further away to get to the bathroom sometimes. It was also really nice to be able to very easily step outside and get some air, and there was a really nice view of the lake and things like that. So, and also because it was out in the suburbs, it also got a bunch of like a new consumer base. Like, there are a lot of people who live out in the suburbs who don't want to travel to the city. And like, I know that this happened particularly because I actually had a lot of people coming up to talk to me personally, because I made a TikTok video about the event a couple of weeks out that actually got quite a bit of attention. And so I had a lot of people coming up to me being like, oh, thank you so much for posting that video. I never would have known about this event otherwise. And a lot of people in particular saying like, oh, it's so nice to have an event that's quite close to where I live. So there were a bunch of people there that wouldn't be at most of the other events just because of location. So again, I actually really liked the location and venue if it wasn't hot and therefore a safety risk. But yeah, it was really cool to have those conversations with all these people who were apparently there, I guess, because of me, because they wouldn't have known about the event otherwise. So that was kind of surreal. That was kind of cool. I definitely will keep making, you know, event content and stuff, even at events that I'm not tabling at myself. But yeah, so the venue itself, I kind of liked the venue and liked that it was out in the suburbs, so people who didn't want to travel to the city would be able to attend one of these types of events. It was also very spacious inside, and it was just good vibes overall. Like, both within the artist alley itself, I freaking love the artist alley community, especially with how hot it was. Like, there were so many artists like supporting artists, like taking water to tables. An artist near us, their partner was actually going on like a Kmart run, and so picked up a fan for us. I was being given ice and all this kind of stuff. Like, I freaking love the artist alley community, and this was definitely a weekend that had me feeling like a lot of love. There's just a lot of good people and a lot of like support, and so many, like, no one is more supportive of artists than other artists, and I just, yeah, big appreciation. But yeah, just the people who were attending and stuff as well, it was all like good vibes. I had some really good conversations. As I said, a bunch of people came up because they'd seen my content and stuff like that, and so it was really good vibes as well. And also even like the artist alley staff, and I think it was overall like organized quite well, and there was even some nice touches. Like, during bump in, they'd left out a couple of water bottles on our tables, like for the artists who were setting up. So little things like that, like little touches like that really do make a difference, and we do really notice it. So very good vibes event. And I did make a small profit, just a small profit. And I don't think it probably helps when you're like semi-conscious behind the table half the weekend. But yeah, so it went reasonable for me in that respect as well. But yeah, it was good vibes. So as I said, like, I loved this event other than how unwell I ended up from the heat and the conditions inside that building. So it's kind of like, please never hold an event there in February again, but please do keep hosting events like this, especially out in the suburbs, because I think it went really well. Like, there were a lot of people there on Saturday, like I think more than probably most people were expecting, again, because this is an event that's never run before. So it was really cool to see that, you know, it was fairly successful. So I loved this event and I want to see more of them. I just, yeah, will never be able to go to that venue again in summer. Anywho, I'll also insert like a photo of my little haul. I actually only purchased 2 prints, which were these beautiful like black and white prints. Is it Tenchi art, I want to say? Was actually an artist who was tabling nearby us. So also really lovely, but very cool. And obviously I needed the Sailor Moon print. Otherwise, most things were trades, or there was a bit of a swap meet table. So again, in that thing of like, this was good vibes, and I loved how even the staff and how Artist Alley were running it and stuff, because they did organize to have this like artist swap meet table situation at the end of the event. So you could go drop off some of your products and then pick up some things from other artists as well. So yeah, so most of the things I ended up with were I directly traded with other artists or was from that swap meet table. Other than the 2 prints I purchased, and then Nathan purchased me a couple of little things as well. Also, like, yeah, thank you so much to my partner, because I don't know what I would have done without him on the weekend, especially when I was really struggling. Like, I don't know that I could have packed up by myself, especially on the Sunday, with how not okay I was. Even like the earrings I'm wearing right now, these were a swap. Little Goat Designs, I think, is their handle. Yeah, again, love the Artist Alley community and the fact that people are willing to just support each other and trade, and everyone's so supportive of each other. I just, big appreciation. As I said, it's like making me emotional just thinking about it because of how unwell I've been this week. Like an entire week of my body being like decimated. Like, anyway, I will be at the Game Expo next month, and that's at the convention center. So, you know, air conditioning and things like that exist. So I should not be in this situation again. And I have a lot of friends who are attending that as well. And I'm also there as a content creator, which does mean if you don't have tickets for TGX yet, but you're in Melbourne and want to go to a pretty fun gaming convention, you can use the code STAR0s to get a discount on those tickets. I'm also going to be at Metro Comic Con later this year as well. And again, that's now at the convention center. So yeah, I will definitely be avoiding venues that aren't like buildings I know will be okay for summer in like summer months. Anyways, if you stuck around this far, thank you. And yeah, I'll see you next time for whatever I post next. Obviously, I will be vlogging the Game Expo next month, but there's other things I want to do, but then I've always got so much going on that it's hard to get the content done that I want to get done. It's also Valentine's Day today, so I've been like out with Nathan all day. Anywho, see you next time. Too fun.